Hi, okay, time for another video before the end of the year. I brought out the two Phantoms, apart from the blue one. I should have actually, I suppose, brought the blue one out as well. So the two Phantoms, which are sort of well progressed and waiting for more paint finish work. So this one is up to the chrome, and I can't remember if this one has had its gloss coat. It might well have. And this was going to get some clear red, and I think the final finish that I think I was doing on this, keeping in mind this was going to be the Roswell-Reno Phantom, or at least one of them. I might have been doing two. So this will be clear red and chrome. And this one, which is still as I last showed, this black took ages to dry, many weeks. And in fact, I've sprayed a gloss black just this past week or two. I've sprayed gloss black in many batches because it's about the most common color, and sometimes it dries very fast. And this Humbrol tin that I used, after spraying, the parts took like 2 weeks to dry or more. And I don't really know. That's one thing that sort of still eludes me. I've had paints, and I can't remember if it's always been gloss black, where for some odd reason it can take absolutely ages to dry. Now the good thing about that is it's not drying in the tin, because gloss black is one of those colors that just forms a skin on the top of the paint, even if you've sealed the tin fairly well. And it sort of ends up being the reason that I go through more gloss blacks than just about any other color, because you need to buy them so often because they dry out. But anyway, so this was painted many months ago. This is well dry, and this was going to be predominantly black, but I can't remember what the other color was that I was going to do with this. I'll probably have to go and watch my videos or just come up with something new. So also a racing scheme, I decided. So I would have the blue, the red and chrome, and then a black and something or other, which I can't remember. If you can remember what I said, give a shout in the comments. So this one was undercarriage up and weapons, and this one is undercarriage down and weapons. So even though it's going into a Reno scheme, it's still getting weapons. Okay, this I haven't done a whole lot more, but I did manage to spray the rims, and that is looking very good to me. Tamiya clear red onto the kit chrome rims, spraying a huge number of thin coats, sitting there for ages, because as I was saying, you don't want to spray with a lot of pressure, because it'll very easily blow the red backwards off the shiny chrome. So that's a very gloss surface, and you can really only cover a very light amount of red at a time. So I think if I had to guess here, I would say more than 25, sort of, doing all four rims, putting it down, coming back. So I'd sort of put one down, and by the time I finish the fourth one, I'm picking up the first one again, doing the next one. So took probably a good half an hour. And then making sure that I do a very light pressure near the end. So the black and fluorescent green I very much like with the red rims. So there was one more lesson apart from the spraying little blobs and a bit of dirt. There was one more lesson to be learned, and that is that despite me thinking I would get the fluorescent green matched between this panel which goes on here and the rest of the car, it didn't end up matching up. I didn't spray enough green onto the those two small panels that go on. It's close, but it's visibly different. And I had said that I'd prefer to leave the panel off so that you're able to spray in here and around that panel reasonably well, that fairing. Slightly in two minds about that now, because if you want a perfect match, you really do need them to be together. I should have maybe held up the side panel and held it against it to see if I've got an equal matching green while I was still busy. That would have probably actually been the best solution, because I still don't feel that I really wanted to put those panels on. So they're very easy to get on afterwards. You do get that join line, of course, there. So, you know, a bit of a decision to make. So yes, lots of little odds and ends, the lights and things, but it'll be pretty good. I am pondering whether this would do well with tinted windows, and it probably would. So I probably need to practice with a bit of tinting. Oh, one of you did say in the comments that the more professional painters spray without the little, that I don't know what that last little bit is on the very front of the airbrush, so that you don't get the build-up on the ridge. And I've been thinking about that, and I think the biggest reason I haven't encountered much of that build-up before is not because it didn't happen, but because I spray smaller things more commonly. And when I spray these car bodies, that gave way more opportunity for a little blob to build up enough to be blasted off. I took it off, the last spraying that I was doing, I took it off and just tested what happens, and you can't paint like that. Not with this airbrush, this Badger, I can't remember what it is. Single action. So my question is, how do you spray? I suppose I should look that up on YouTube. How do you spray without that thing on the front? What sort of little mod do you need to do? Or does it work with some airbrushes but not others? Because I am pondering that that's probably a good idea to spray without allowing for that build-up to happen. Oh, I brought this one just to show the difference in the greens for the Scout and that Porsche. Now this spray job that I did on this, apart from a little bit of dust speckles on the roof, that is still a very, very nice paint job. But I did an even better one yesterday on a tank that I painted, which is not this one. It's busy drying inside. But it came out so well that I looked at this one again and wondered why this one hadn't come out as well. So I'd showed you this one previously a number of times. This is the RS1000 tank. And the difference was that I'd sprayed this with an orange-red mix first to seal and equalize the color from the filler that had been done on this, which worked very well, but it caused this bit of orange peel effect. And yesterday's tank I sprayed straight onto the plastic, as I did with both of these car bodies, but the finish that I got on the tank yesterday is absolutely amazing, which you will see when I show you the two tanks next to each other. The downside of that is that I didn't do a paint to equalize the filler to the white plastic. But I'll speak about that once that's dry enough to hold up and show. Same gloss red, but it looks so much better. And that just, makes me realize that that statement about certain bright colors really need to be on a bright base. This red I'd painted onto an orange red base, thinking that that would allow it its full brightness, but painting it on white just even gives it that much better. So point number one, spraying a gloss over another gloss can be done, and it can be done very well, but I think when I sprayed that first red-orange mix, whatever I did was just not up to standard. I don't quite know. I've actually never investigated the real reasons behind orange peel effect. I probably need to go and watch a couple of videos on that. If I build models that don't require such a perfect automotive finish for long periods, then I don't encounter this, but it's worth me actually now going and learning a bit about that. This is the Phoenix, which I think I have showed you before. Now it is my version of the Phoenix in that I've done decals that are not on the original. In other words, I was just doing a project where I want to see how reasonably I could produce what they were trying to do in the movie. And I think I need to probably just finish this one now in the last days of December. All the parts are painted, it's just final assembly. I'll just show you. So I have put a rough work metal cover over there. That is, I can't even remember really what was that. Oh, it is this long strake. Okay. So there's that very long strake. I'll get to that shortly. And I think maybe, I can't remember if one of the versions doesn't have that, and possibly in the movie it doesn't have that, so I took that off. It also has rough work metal covering over there, and the reason I did it like that is because if they were trying to patch fillets in an area where they didn't have a fillet there and they wanted to put something there, it would be absolute rough field work, probably even worse than what I've done it there. But I think I've done it acceptably enough to look reasonable on a model, but bad enough to represent the field work aspect of this. Now the reality of this, including that bit of bad join there and so on, the reality of that movie's presentation of being able to build something like this in a desert, I think I did mention, is about impossible. To remove an aircraft wing and mount it to an area where you don't have the facility for proper main spar installation, to cut a horizontal stabilizer in half, and to be honest, I've done it way too neat there, but let's say that they managed to achieve a nice clean cut off there, and then join it to the other side. So mine would be way neater than what they would achieve there, but for the purposes of this model, well, I guess it's nice looking, but it's just too good for what they would have managed. So it's a bit of an impossible situation to try and take this aircraft take one of these booms, go and take the wing off the other side and attach it to this side after removing the bit of center section wing on the other side there, to cut that horizontal stabilizer in half and attach it to this side which has nothing. So the amount of metal work that would be required on the site of a crash landed aircraft without full workshop is It's just the only place that'll happen is in the movies. But anyway, so I've got my flaps, which will be in the down position. I've got the prop done. What I don't have done is what would be there. Now in the movie they were holding onto the wings. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put little figures onto the wings, since I'm not interested in representing it that accurately. In fact, what I was doing was trying to create something possibly even a little bit better than what they could achieve in the movie. In other words, holding onto the wing of an aircraft taking off is just not going to happen reasonably. It would be way better that they try and fit in there, but realistically, could you possibly even do that? So all I need to do is cover up those pieces of sprue and put in some sort of detail and make it look like one could put a few people in there and ride. I'll put a small windscreen, but they would not have achieved a proper windscreen there. Paint job is not bad, I think. Nicely weathered and bad looking. The undercarriage is another bit of a impractical thing in the movie, in that it's a single wheel, a single undercarriage leg. This aircraft has to balance, so I have to put on spring steel long bit skids, which that's with the weight of this aircraft. I don't know what they would have used to stop it from dropping a wing. I'll go and watch a bit, but I mean it's all made up anyway. So that one will look nice. The balance of this aircraft would never have been achieved, not like this. But it makes for an interesting and different topic. So this is a second kit that I obtained, and it's the body of this one, of the other one, but it's the body that I have taken for a sort of a scratch build, futuristic looking thing, where I'm putting this onto floats, I think. Not a bad aeroplane as a build, and at some stage I will get to that. I do like that color scheme as well, the silver and the orange. And this model, which I'm sure I have shown in a video before, is one of those that is just really, really needing to get done, because it's such an iconic aircraft, and I've never built a nice Concorde. And this particular model is very, very simple. It's got very nice surface detail, all recessed. It has got that curvature, so that's not warping, and I'm not seeing any warping present there. Looks like very nice molds. I would probably have to do little dark dots into the windows just after the fact, a little bit of a black wash into the windows. And again, because this is going on the ceiling, hanging on the ceiling, I don't think that I will do the undercarriage. So, if you leave out all of that undercarriage, there's not a whole lot left. So this probably should be one of those builds that I do during 2025. These decals look acceptable, I think. It's difficult to say whether they would crack. I mean, obviously they are yellowed, but that doesn't really matter for this build. This would be sort of one of those builds where you accept the age of the kit, and having the decals on in that aged fashion to me sort of adds to the effect. If they disintegrate, then that's a bit of a problem. I might need to try and obtain some others. Probably British Airways is what I'd choose. I think this is the best of the 144th Concorde kits. And I don't know what weathering I would do. You know, while one can run a bit of black into the panel lines, it's really not correct for an aircraft of this scale and white color and so on. So I'm thinking that a gloss white, and that's it. Decals go on and it's done. So I am busy working on motorbike parts. I have done so many spray sessions of small parts in the last months, and it's actually good learning, you know, just getting familiar and observing small things that work and don't work. The cars is a little bit of a sort of a special time. It's not really one of my common things that I do, but I'm quite happy with that. So anyway, I've got to get on with the rest of the color scheme of this one. I did put blue tack there, but actually really I should stop using blue tack for anything on the aircraft. And leaving tape on for extended periods of time is not ideal. This now has obviously picked up a lot of dust. I do need to wipe that off nicely. So I guess the next rather than working on this is the weapons. I must just go and check where I was with the undercarriage for the one that's getting the undercarriage. But I think there is still a bit of work to do on the undercarriage. Okay, that just gives a little bit of a catch up on these projects. Happy modeling. Cheers.